cheetahs down at the Wild Animal Park run on a regular basis through a mechanical lure, keeping them very well exercised and in very good condition. An Anatolian Shepherd, which is also a livestock guarding dog, protects livestock from predators. Farmers can learn about livestock management, and so farmers around the world are killing most all of our predators. And predators are really important to the health of our ecosystems. And ecosystems are important to our survival. So predators should be our best friends. But worldwide, we've killed predators. At our model farm, we raise cattle, goats, sheep. We raise livestock guarding dogs and donate them to farming communities. And from that, we try to teach ways in which people can learn to live in harmony with animals like the cheetah, leopards, jackals. As a model, we're a model to other predators as well. People in Africa, in an arid environment, living on the land, and their livestock is their wealth in their bank. And with that, you don't want any predator to catch your livestock, because then you're going to get poor, and you don't want to be poor. And so we blame every loss it's easier to blame the predator. And then we maybe could look at us and say, well, what role do we play as farmers? And they're educated. And from that, we could use a lot of education. That education really revolves around aspects of good veterinary care. And that's a lot of the work that we do at our model farm. And we've trained thousands of rural farmers at our farm. Now, what does that mean? And that means that the farmers come and work with us and stay with us for like a week at a time. And they eat with us. They are part of our whole system. And we teach them through our livestock about how to raise their goats, their sheep, give shots, do good parasitology, how to use a livestock guarding dog. So they've taken on the role to protect our livestock from predators like the cheetah, the leopard, jackals, and many of the other predators, so that farmers don't have to kill animals like the cheetah or other predators. In the name of the work that we've done with the livestock guarding dogs, and we've actually put out nearly 500 of these dogs in the past 15 years. So we breed them and we donate them to the farmers, and we've seen a livestock loss reduction by 80 to 100% by having the dogs. And we don't have to train the dogs, we train the farmers. We place the dogs at about 10 weeks of age, and then we go and work with the farmers so that the dogs can do the job. And the point of that is anything that, the dogs become playmates and guardians, guides, protectors, that actually tell them, the cheetah, when they're growing up, no, you can't be rough with me, you can't play, and make really good ambassador cheetahs as well. At our compound in Namibia, we've worked with probably 1,000 cheetahs that farmers would have caught, they would kill, and we've been able to put most of those animals back out into the wild. A handful of them that come in as babies are not able to go back out in the wild. And they then become orphans, and we have to take care of them. But if we get cats in that are 3 months, 6 months, 8 months of age, they're hissy, spatty, they want to live in the wild. And what we've been able to do is through our facility, grow them up and then put them back out in the wild, and then develop what are called rewilding techniques. And with that, there are only 10 game reserves large enough to actually maintain a population of cheetahs that is genetically diverse. The reserves are usually small, and a cheetah, as I always say, takes you out of the box to think about what it means to be in the cheetah's shoes. And then I say to our local farmers, well, now if you have a cheetah on your land and you manage your livestock, and the cheetah's made a kill, then the cheetah will feed the jackal, and the jackal's not going to come in and eat your livestock. And then the farmers go, wow, what a concept. I never quite thought about it that way. So in maintaining those programs, I think the ecosystems are really important. But cheetahs don't do well in reserves because lions and hyenas are strong and powerful. they do need protection. They're an animal that don't do that well with livestock and farmers. They are more aggressive, they're big, people are afraid of them. You can live with them, and people up in East Africa have learned a lot of great ways to actually live in harmony, although we have to practice that more. An animal like the cheetah is an animal that anybody in Africa could actually live with, if indeed we have good wildlife numbers. So that's a really important part. I want to recognize one of my dearest friends. Ollie, are you right there? He's the main geneticist from the Zoo and Wild Animal Park. And I might ask Ollie to talk a little bit about the Genome 10K project. Do you mind?
The project that Laurie refers to, Genome 10K, is a project to sequence the genomes of 10,000 vertebrates. And when we have that done, we will have the raw information to understand at the genetic level, at the level of genome rearrangements, at the level of DNA, what changes facilitated the explosion and the creation or the evolution of animals as diverse as fishes and vultures and cheetahs and albatrosses and frogs and alligators, and you get the idea. But you know, right now we don't understand at a really fundamental level, at the DNA level, how a bird is different from a mammal. But focusing in on the genome of animals like cheetahs helps us learn better about their the process that brought them to this point in time. But it also is going to help shed light on something that sparked Laurie's interest. You know, it's like, why are they susceptible to diseases? Are there things that we can do to avoid that risk? And we're seeing diseases affect lions in the Serengeti, and frogs around the world, and many species. So to use these tools of modern biology can be helpful.
Most of our funding actually comes from the United States. We do have a research center that is open to the public, so we do encourage people to visit us as well. We've got a nice little guest house, only 3 bedrooms, so not many people can stay. That is very exclusive, and we welcome people to stay with us there as well. And as I said, there's only 10 reserves in Africa large enough to have cheetahs, so we have to deal with a lot of human issues. And with that, we really want cheetahs to grow throughout their ranges. We've got a veterinary clinic, and our veterinary clinic takes care of our 42 cheetahs, our 300 goats, our 15 livestock guarding dogs. We had a 600-acre drive-through wild animal park, and we had cheetahs that had come in from Namibia. And in the early 70s, all of our cheetahs that live in captivity around the world, the last batch came in before the Endangered Species Act, and CITES stopped the export of wild cheetahs. And so in the early 70s, when I started at this wild animal park, I met my first cheetah. Middle 1970s, I ended up hand-raising a cheetah from Oregon. Her name was Cayenne, and was sent to Namibia, Africa, which was at that point in a war for its independence, with cheetah that was considered to be vermin, me being an American woman. And I arrived there and taught my cheetah how to hunt. And that my job was to find out, could a captive-born cheetah learn how to hunt in the wild? And I found out that, yes, they could. An animal like this and the one that I took over, which was hand-raised, probably wouldn't be the best candidate. But I found that farmers were killing cheetahs like flies, and that's when I thought somebody should go over there and save the wild cheetah. And the fact that back in those days, and I kept saying that, it was like, well, somebody will take care of it, but you know, there was no somebody. And that's when, in 1990, I was at the Smithsonian at that point, and had been involved in the genetic, finding out about the genetic make of the cheetahs, learning a lot about the disease aspects and the reproductive aspects. I have a very strong biomedical side. I wanted to know what a free-ranging cheetah looked like, health-wise. I wanted to know why the farmers were killing them. And so that's when I went from Washington at independence of Namibia and set up the foundation, and I got a little Land Rover, and I drove around the country talking to the farmers and asking them why they were killing cheetahs. And from that, I befriended the farmers. But on the other hand, they're actually really proud of me, because not only did I listen to them and befriended them, and they are some of the best farmers in the world, have used their techniques and told the world that we can live with predators, and have put Namibia, I think, on the map, and Namibia is the cheetah capital of the world. So that's in a nutshell kind of where I got started.
That's okay.
Well, just thank you. I mean, I could talk about cheetahs for the next 40 years of my life as well, and I hope that I will. But I thank you all for all of you being a part of the work that we do, because without your help and your support and your interest, would not have been able to get to the point that we are today, to say that we actually can save the species if we can even do more. And a lot of the work that we're dealing with is to try to scale up the work that we're doing so that we can put biomass into rural communities, so that we can have future farmers of Africa profiting from visitors coming into the country and having stable countries, and educating more and more of our Africans into being the best scientists that there are, because it's their continent, it's their wildlife, and we're going to be the ones that are going to appreciate it in future generations. Thank you for being here.